It's time now for a look at latest in local news. In the news, the Wayne County Sheriff's Department has warrants out for the arrest of 29-year-old Lannis Paul Brown, who's still at large after the shooting this past weekend. Law enforcement asking if anyone knows his whereabouts to contact the Sheriff's Department at 912-427-5970. Brown is wanted on felony murder charges and aggravated assault charges in last Friday's shooting death of 23-year-old Zachary Johnson. Shooting occurred on Community Circle Road off of Rainier Road last Friday around 11 a.m. Confrontation occurred between the two men, but law enforcement state that they have conflicting reports on what the confrontation was about. Once again, the search is on for 29-year-old Lannis Paul Brown, still at large at this time. Warrants have been secured for his arrest, and he will be facing charges of felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Once again, if anyone knows his whereabouts, they're asked to contact the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Chuck Mosley states he's armed and dangerous. Jesup police still searching for a suspect wanting the shooting of a man who remains in hospital in Savannah. Shooting occurred last Wednesday at 115 Shamrock Street in Jesup. Occurred between 8 and 9 p.m. Police have yet to release the name of this victim or the suspect that they're searching for. Again, we continue to follow the story as it develops, but again, not been able to get the name of the victim or the suspect at this time. Wayne County Sheriff's Deputy Michael Taylor remains at Memorial Medical Center in Savannah after an accident which occurred early Saturday morning on Holmesville Road around 6 a.m. While the deputy was headed to work, a deer came out in front of the officer's vehicle. He swerved to miss the deer, lost control of the vehicle, which went airborne. He was ejected from the vehicle and had to be airlifted to the hospital. Officer was not wearing a seatbelt. Vehicle, a 2011 Crown Vic, was a total loss. Officer suffered severe injuries, is again being treated for those injuries at Memorial Medical Center in Savannah. County Commissioners met for their February monthly meeting last night. We'll come back, take a look at that right after this word from our sponsor or the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. The Wayne County Commissioners met Monday night for their February monthly meeting, and under adoption of the agenda, Commissioner James Thomas wanted an item of old business taken off the agenda. The item was the approval of the Heart of Georgia third-party member. At the January meeting, the Commissioners voted 3-2 to remove Tyrone Johnson from that board, and the appointment for a new board member was on Monday night's agenda. Thomas presented the Commissioners with a letter from Regional Director of the Altamont Commission, Brett Manning, stating the qualifications for a board member to be appointed to the board. Thomas stated he was trying to avoid the county getting into a lawsuit. The agenda was approved by a vote of 4-1, with Commissioner Thomas voting against, so the appointment came up under old business as planned. Here's how the discussion and vote went.
Consider an approved Heart of Georgia RDC third-party member. I have had several people to look at, and one of them we talked to was Dawson Trapnell. He's willing to serve on this. He did get some paperwork on it and to find out what his obligations would be to be a part of this board, and he has accepted those, and I make a motion that we appoint Dawson Trapnell.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this person supposed to be a private citizen and also a business person?
Yes.
So what business is Dawson on?
He has to own a business?
He meets all the criteria.
So it's on the business?
Yes.
Business.
Madam Clerk.
You don't have to own it. You have to own the business. I think you require Mr. Johnson to own a business. You have to own a business.
Yeah. We can call and ask.
Oh, wow.
So essentially the third-party member, which is a private sector representative, is defined by the Economic Development Administration and the Federal Register as follows. Any senior management or executive holding a key decision-making position or that person's designee in any for-profit enterprise. With this definition, the private sector representative must be someone active in a business who has decision-making authority. A retired business person will not qualify. So you don't necessarily have to own a business, but you do have to fit one of those criteria.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins.
I called and talked to Dawson when I found out that we were talking, that they were considering him, make sure that he understood the responsibilities, roles and responsibilities. And he assured me that he did. So with that said, I'm gonna say yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
This is nothing against Dawson. I think it was unnecessary appointment. No.
And once again, the vote 4-1 with Commissioner Thomas voting no. Again, the new appointment, Dawson Trabnell. The bone of contention with the Heart of Georgia Regional Commission, according to Thomas, is that the appointments to the regional council should be nonpartisan. Thomas says the motion at the January meeting was to take Tyrone Johnson off because he was liberal and they wanted conservative on the board. Jamie Hickox also stated that she wanted conservative on the board. Thomas believes a lawsuit is coming to the county on that issue. Other news from the meeting, a lot of volunteer firefighters and volunteer firemen and fire departments discussed. Commissioner Mike Gordon says it was a campaign promise to find new departments and new volunteer firefighters and to compensate them for the work they do. On the agenda was approved policy and procedures for the compensation of volunteer firefighters, but that was tabled for further discussion. We put on the agenda for a work session scheduled for Friday, February 13th. But after a 45-minute executive session, which included land acquisition and litigation, commissioners moved forward with the volunteer fire departments looking for land. Here was the motion and conversation after the executive session.
I make the motion that we enter into land acquisition for a volunteer fire station on parcel 1.
Negotiation.
I second this, to enter into negotiations for land acquisition for volunteer fire station for parcel 1 that we're looking at.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McCrary,
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yes. Okay, and the second item is to authorize Madam Administrator to get a surveyor to survey 1 acre parcel for a volunteer fire station, and it's listed as parcel 2. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hickox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
Commissioner McCrary.
Yes.
And once again, those both unanimous votes. The parcel 1 is on Tank Plant Road, parcel 2 is on Oglethorpe Road. The commissioners say having more volunteer fire departments will help lower homeowners' insurance. Commission serious about compensating the volunteer firefighters for their service and their training to become a volunteer firefighter. That's why they tabled their policy and procedures. They didn't like the amount of compensation that was in the original policies, so they're going to work on that at their work session on Friday, February 13th. We'll have more from the meeting after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes in the news, some other items from the County Commissioners meeting on Monday. The commissioners voted 3-2 to put the issue of term limits of elected officials before the voters. Commissioners Tim Hopkins and James Thomas voted against. We'll have that conversation for you tomorrow here on the local news. Good news for the Wayne County Airport. Commissioners approved bids to construct a light and marked parallel taxiway at the airport, also for a perimeter fence. Hope is that Wayne County's airport will soon become a regional airport. County received a $1.5 million grant towards the projects, but due to inflation, the bid's a little higher than expected. County looking to adjust their budget to meet the overcost on the projects. Rec Director Lamar Eccles on hand got to go ahead to move forward with the bid to level the soccer and baseball fields, and the commissioners approved the beer and wine license for Van's Barbecue. And we'll have more from the county meeting on tomorrow's newscast. Some other final notes. The city commissioners meet tonight at 7 p.m. On their agenda, discussion of Jesup Housing Authority and workforce housing with Mark Watson, approval of purchase SUV on state contract. Fire Chief Josh Huffman on hand for that. Items with the city manager, items with the commissioners, items with the mayor. That tonight at 7 p.m. Chamber of Commerce has the big career expo planned for tomorrow at Coastal Pines Technical College. That gets underway tomorrow between 3 and 7 p.m. And if you're looking for a new career or a new job, they state you want to check out this career expo. It'll feature several local industries and businesses with current job openings and on-site interviews. Several companies helping put the expo on, including Rayonier, Sierra International Machinery, Yellowwood, Chemours, Georgia Power, EAM, Wayne Memorial Hospital, Chamber of Commerce, and the IDA. And the big day planned for tomorrow, 3 to 7 p.m. at Coastal Pines Technical College. Wayne County Board of Education met yesterday for a work session, but they did approve personnel, certified resignations. Andy Blaylock, Odom Elementary School, 49%. Kimberly Daniel, Scribner Elementary School, retiring. Classified transfer. Amber Dickerson, transfer from Maintenance Secretary to Transportation Secretary. Classified resignations: Alyssa Eaton, Martha Ross Smith Elementary, Nikisha Ranger, Transportation, and Lena Young, Jesup Elementary. That's going to do it for the latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.